12 years ago, I had the first interview of my life at the University of Minnesota. There was only one interviewer, not even an interview panel, but I was not ready for my first interview experience. My voice trembled, my words fumbled, my hands sweated, my mind was lost in my memory maze, and I couldn't speak a word. As a result, I blamed my speaking anxiety for my failure to get into pharmacy school at the U of M. According to Ethos 3, a presentation design agency, the number one fear is glossophobia, with 75% of the people suffer from it in the United States. Glossophobia refers to the fear of public speaking or speech anxiety. And you can add me to that already overwhelming statistic. What this means is if you ever go to the funeral, you're better off being in the casket than being outside giving a eulogy speech. Overcoming and controlling our fear was or still is an obstacle to many of us in this room. Do you remember the butterflies you used to have to get when you gave your first icebreaker speech? Or maybe you used to dread when you just to come to the Toastmaster meeting each week. Because this is such an important topic, I think it would be helpful for all of us to learn a little bit about the causes, the symptoms, and the tips of managing glossophobia. Just like trying to solve many problems, we need to find out the root causes that trigger our fear. The first one on the list is new and unknown situation. And I have to admit that I'm also afraid of facing new stuff and changes because it causes a lot of stress. For example, I decided to compete in speech contest last year, and oh boy, that causes a lot of stress. We don't want to live an equivocal life because that increases our risk and our stress. Another example I can give you more in the general world is maybe the presidential election. If you can choose to vote for the current president, most people will probably vote for the current president because they probably don't want to introduce new law and new rules that they are uncertain in their life. They want to know their tax rate, their insurance policy, and what they're gonna change, how it's gonna affect their life, etc. The other causes on the list is the risk of failure and appearing foolish. We are born in a society that praises successes, values victories, and admires achievements. The fear of losing, appearing foolish, and the possibility of embarrassment causes great fear and panic. No one wants to suffer disgrace, and of course, these were the worries that I also had when I decided to participate in the contest. Imagine you're in the middle of your speech, and then you're starting to coughing, and then for the rest of your speech, you think to yourself, oh my God, nothing went as planned. It's horrible. But in the audience's eyes, it's probably just a natural way for you to clear your throat. And to be honest, maybe 1 second after you cough, nobody would even remember that you coughed. In our mind, we tend to magnify small hiccups into some magnificent elephant farts. How does this feel like when you have a speech anxiety? Just like being in an adverse situation, our body pumps out a lot of adrenaline, and we have to choose between fight or flight. Since we are more fearful of being embarrassed on the stage, we would rather stay up here and fight to the end than being looking foolish, right, walking away. So our heart will pound heavily, our nerve cells entangles, our body involuntarily shakes, our head feels dizzy, and ultimately our minds freeze and our words vaporize. It's hard to be standing up here and appear confident when you're feeling those symptoms. So we will need some technique to calm our presentation nerves. If you think the solution is completely get rid of your fear, Shakespeare may disagree with you, as he once wrote, "Extreme fear can neither fight nor fly." You can only learn to control your fear, never eliminate your fear. One way to reduce fear is to paint a good picture in your mind from the moment the Toastmaster introduced you up, gave your speech, and then all the way back when the audience applaud your way back to your seat. Research shows that mentally rehearsing employs thought processes to achieve positive results. Another common tip is to relax yourself by breathing, deep breathing, breathing through your diaphragm, or doing stretches to loosen your muscles before your speeches. Personally, to improve my speech and alleviate my fear, I force myself into fearful situations to allow myself to practice, practice, and practice. I may do really bad the first few times. If you remember my speech contest in the club, I totally froze my mind twice during my first time in the club level. And then when I moved on to the area level, I did much better, but I still can feel the butterfly in my stomach. When I went to the division level, I also did better, but nobody probably know that I was pacing around. Every 15 minutes I went to the restroom to relax myself. But I did want that one. And then I went to the district level, and I was totally thrown out of my comfort zone when I was met with 150 plus audiences. And on the first sentence, when I was up on the stage, I fumbled, and my words was tumbled, and I lost my mind. But I was, with all the practice and experience that I had, I was able to get right back on track and finish the rest of my speech smoothly. After that, I decided to do it one last time. During my trip to LA during the Thanksgiving, I decided to visit the club. Wow. And I visited the Speech Crafter Club at South Pasadena. And I asked for the opportunity to deliver my humor speech as a guest. They agreed, not knowing who this person is, and they agreed to let me in. This time, my evaluator said it was a flawlessly woven speech, and my full body language and hand gesture impressed everyone in the club. But deep inside, there was still a little fear in me when I was anticipating for my turn to speak in front of this strange crowd in an unfamiliar stage. Sufficient practice makes a big difference. So in conclusion, glossophobia is the #1 fear in this country. And it's normal to be fearful. Through repetition and exposing myself to just practicing and like be able to communicate, I have grown from someone to be someone who was speechless in an interview to someone who's brave enough to participate in a speech contest today. Several weeks ago, when I was the Toastmaster, for the theme of the meeting, I asked people to share with me what is their fear in public speaking and how they manage it. And most of you have told me that you guys manage it by coming to Toastmaster and practice each week. And I pat the back to all of us because we all have joined the Toastmaster and we have took the first step. Just remember, it's normal to feel somewhat nervous before your speech. Mark Twain once said, "Courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not absence of fear." Mentally rehearse your speech, work on your breathing, relax your muscle, know your speech by heart by practice, 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 and you will control and conquer your fears of public speaking like a champion, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you.